If you pursue a thru hiking lifestyle, you're gonna have all kinds of really neat experiences, and I've got millions of stories to tell about mine on the Continental Divide Trail. Again, back then the trail was not that well designated, and I lost my trail. It hadn't been developed yet. I think before St. Joseph passed a lake called Cowbone Lake. And so I just dropped out of the mountains, and I thought I'd go down to a little town called Jackson, Montana. Not Jackson Hole, Jackson, Montana. Jackson Hole's in Wyoming. Anyway, it was just a small town, and it took me a while. I mean, I didn't really know if I was even going to find the place. It was just national forest. I had my compass, and I didn't have much mapping. Ran into a forest ranger who, he was newly minted and didn't know if he could just give me a map, so he sold me a map for $5. And I finally walked into Jackson, Montana on a Saturday night. And I went to the local bar, and I started in, and there was a guy sitting on the porch talking to a woman drinking a beer, and he said, "Where'd you come from?" My favorite question. I said, "Mexico." "No kidding." He said, "Did you get any food poisoning down there?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, try in here." So I did. I went in, and since the ranger took my $5, I only had $1 in cash and a card, and at least back then most places didn't take cards in the West. And she said, "No, we don't take a card." So as much as I wanted a hamburger, I had to walk out, and it was getting dark. I thought I better go find a place on the river for the night. As I came out, the guy on the porch said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Oh, I was going to eat here, but I only have $1, and they don't take a card." And he said, "Well, you go back in there and tell her your credit's good, and the first beer's on me." I said, I'll try that." So I went and told her, and she said, "Well, he's the owner, so I guess that's right." So anyway, I ate. I had a beer, and then every cowboy in Montana came in. I was telling stories all night, and they were buying beer. And it got so late that the owner finally said, "You're going to have to stay with us for the night." So he sent me back to the house behind there, and I slept in a bunk bed above his kid. And got up in the morning, he and I had coffee, and down the road I went. But again, trail magic, great people. You're going to run into a lot of wonderful people. I always say there's 8 billion people on the planet, and half of them are assholes, but you're going to run into a lot of the other half. Keep smiling.